My House of Horrors Chapter 871 to 880. The fourth room of the nurse's office was more like a cage. It was used to imprison various people, but they were all adults, there were no children. Looks like this outsider who impersonated the doctor is very familiar with the rules of the school. He did not harm the children to avoid being targeted by the school's consciousness. Chen Ge looked at one mirror after another. The monsters inside them had been completely assimilated by negative emotions. They were filled with malice and could not be treated as friends. He walked past the small room, leaving behind a pool of blood on the ground. Finally, he stopped before the last mirror in the corner of the room. This mirror is a bit different. The other mirrors were all covered by the doctor's white coat, but only this mirror had a patient's garb hanging on it. It was broken and covered in blood. One could see the character, Shin, on the chest of the shirt. This is not something from the school of the afterlife. It should be something that the Red Spectre brought out from the cursed hospital. Even though Chen Ge had not been to the hospital before, he had seen a similar patient's garb more than once. Looks like the doctor is a patient from the cursed hospital in disguise. Now the question is, how did the monster from the 4-star scenario get into this scenario? Chen Ge could not understand it. He realized that the monsters inside the cursed hospital, be it red specters or lingering spirits, were all trying their best to escape. Only a top red specter or a greater red specter can make a normal red specter run, and the doctor looks much more powerful than a normal red specter. What happened inside that hospital? What forced the red specters to run to other 4-star scenarios? There were many questions, but Chen Ge did not care. As long as he could find the doctor to control him, everything would be solved. Boss, don't get too close to this mirror. It gives me a very bad feeling. It was Bai Cholan who spoke. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was radiating a very dangerous presence. Can you see the people trapped inside the mirror? Chen Ge was very cautious. At the slightest hint of danger, he would immediately retreat. They were now behind the door, so he could not afford to be reckless. Bai Cholan, with one hand in his pocket, stood on the left side of the mirror. Xu Yin, with his head lowered, stood on the right side of the mirror. The two of them protected Chen Ge, one on the left and one on the right. I can't see it, but I can feel his malice. This guy is very strong. Bai Cholan glanced at Xu Yin. But Xu Yin did not respond. After receiving Chen Ge's signal, he did not say a word and pressed his blood-stained palm directly on the mirror. Pa! The mirror, which was already full of cracks, seemed to be unable to withstand the pressure, and a few more cracks appeared. If you don't come out on your own, we'll destroy the mirror and lock you in there forever. To us, we've only lost an unimportant mirror, but to you, you've lost your last hope. You should know what to choose. Other than that, don't even think about resisting. There are 5 red specters inside and outside the room. I'm not threatening you. I'm helping you. Bai Cholan had been with Chen Ge for so long, and he had learned some of Chen Ge's social skills. The blood-red mirror reflected Chen Ge's figure. Slowly, the figure started to change. His facial features twisted, and an unfamiliar face appeared in the mirror. This was a very strange scene. The mirror still reflected Chen Ge's own body, but the face was different. You're also outsiders, right? The man in the mirror spoke in a low voice, and there was a trace of venom in his eyes. The strangest thing was that he had a smile on his face like that was the only expression he knew. Since you're here, it means that the madman has already been killed by you, or else he would not have allowed a living person to enter this room. The man in the mirror recognized Chen Ge, and his eyes kept wandering to Chen Ge. If you're planning to use me as a scapegoat, I advise you to give up on that idea. The previous ghost is still hiding in my shadow, and he doesn't dare come out to face me. Chen Ge took a step back to maintain a safe distance from the mirror. I don't know why you would think that. Actually, I don't mean any harm to you. You killed that madman and helped me take revenge. I can't even thank you enough. Why would I harm you? The man in the mirror cracked his mouth, and his smile became even uglier. You look like a smart person, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. Tell me everything about the doctor and the 4th sick room, or I'll destroy the mirror. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything. Only by letting you know my value will I be able to live. No matter what the man said, there was a smile on his face. It appeared like he only knew how to smile. This made Chen Ge very uncomfortable, and he was reminded of another person. When he took the bus to Liwan City, there was a passenger on the bus who had a smile on his face. At the last part of the trial mission in Liwan City, The passenger had even helped Chen Ge once, even though it was for self-preservation. After the mission ended in Liwan City, the strange man had disappeared. Chen Ge did not think much of it at the time, but this time, he encountered a similar person in a different form at the school of the afterlife. They kept smiling like they were suffering from some kind of disease. Let's talk about the Red Spectre who pretended to be a doctor first. How did he end up at this school? Chen Ge was not sure whether the man would lie to him or not, so he decided to ask a few unimportant questions to test the waters. He is a patient who escaped from a certain hospital, but I cannot tell you which hospital it is because if I say the name, I'll be cursed. The first sentence that the man said gave Chen Ge a very important hint. Be it in the black phone or anywhere else, he did not say the name of the hospital directly, like that name was a taboo. A cursed hospital? Chen Ge narrowed his eyes. After he said that, the brows of the man in the mirror rose, and the blood vessels in his eyes increased like he was losing control of his emotions. Yes, you can call it that. Then why did the doctor escape? I don't know because I don't belong there. I'm a teacher at the school of the afterlife. You're lying. Before the man finished, Chen Ge interrupted him. He looked around, picked up a chair, and walked to stand before the mirror. Who are you? Seeing how Chen Ge looked like he would shatter the mirror the next second, the man's eyes darkened, but the smile on his face brightened. Fine, I'm actually like all of you. I came from the outside. You can call me, or people like me, the non-smiler. The man would pause after every word, as if it was very interesting to say so. Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. The shards of the mirror fell to the ground. Ding ding dong dong. Behind the scarlet mirror, the smiling face was distorted and crooked. The corner of his lips cracked. The closer he was to death, the happier he was, and the more he wanted to laugh. We are called non-smilers. Father once said that we do not deserve to have a smile. The man in the mirror seemed to be reminded of something happy. His lips cracked, and even through the mirror, one could hear his shrill laughter. It was as if his father's words were the funniest joke in the world. Father, he was a doctor at the hospital. He was not a good father, but he was the greatest doctor I have ever met. There was pain, fear, and a trace of fanaticism in the man's crazed eyes. Other doctors only care about treating patients, but he saves people and kills people at the same time. He believes that angels and demons are hiding in people's hearts, and he has personally built heaven and hell for that. Is hell referring to that cursed hospital? No, it is heaven, but it is a heaven that everyone wants to escape from. The man in the mirror had completely exposed his true nature. He looked at Chen Ge and smiled happily like he liked talking to Chen Ge. Since it is heaven, why do you want to escape? Chen Ge had a brief comment about the man in the mirror, madman. That is my father's heaven, not ours. The man's face was stuck to the surface of the mirror. The cracked surface was imprinted on his face like his face had been sliced into pieces, and it looked very scary. If heaven is already so scary, what will the hell that your father built be like? No one has seen hell before. Do you think anyone who has seen hell can still stand before you and talk to you? The man's eyes widened, and the corner of his lips cracked to the limit of a human. It was as if the skin on his face would be torn apart at any moment. Hey, why would you be interested in that hospital? You know something about it. When I said that I was a school teacher, you immediately realized that I was lying. Could it be that you've seen other non-smilers before? Have you met my family? Or have you also received an invitation from that school? The middle-aged man in the mirror was the embodiment of evil. He was very smart, and he managed to deduce a lot of information from a few details. Facing someone who looked so smart, Chen Ge normally would not waste time with them. He signaled at Xu Yin and found a chance to kill the man. Whether the man was friend or foe, once he was killed, he would become nutrients for his haunted house. This was the lesson that Chen Ge had learned after his battle with Dr. Gao. Never mind, no matter if you've met my family or received an invitation from that hospital, once you're related to that hospital, you won't be able to escape anymore. He will continue to appear beside you in various forms until one day, when you open your eyes, you will suddenly realize that you are lying on a cold surgical table and start your own cursing game. The man did not sound like he was threatening Chen Ge. He sounded like he was merely stating a fact. You don't need to worry about me. Chen Ge stared at the mirror. You said you have other family members? What? Can't you tell? Just like you. I used to be a living person. It's just that you were accompanied by family and friendship, and we were accompanied by pain and hatred. We lived in the gloomy and desperate hospital every day, watching death and disease spread until they crawled onto us. Pa. The man's palm slammed heavily on the mirror, and his body was pressed against the cracks. Father doesn't like us to cry, so he can only smile. We smile when we're in pain. We smile when we're sick, and the more pain our heart aches, the happier we smile. But we smile so hard, but he still doesn't like us. He says that our smiles are ugly, that we're not really smiling. The man's laughter came from the mirror. His face was squeezed between the cracks, and he banged his head against the surface. Look, look, I'm smiling so happily, I'm smiling so happily. Blood leaked out from the wounds, and the man's face was scratched. He touched the blood at the corner of his lips. We're smiling all the time, but we're called non-smilers, isn't that funny? I don't have a high EQ, so I can't understand why you're laughing, but if you tell me more information about the hospital and the school, I can consider helping you. Chen Ge had interacted with many crazy people. He was not a doctor, and he could not save those patients. The only thing he could do was not believe them, stick to his own beliefs, and not be convinced by those people. Actually, it was very difficult to convince Chen Ge. He had seen a completely different world, and if they had a deep conversation, it was hard to say who would be convinced. They could discuss it, but that was not necessary. Looks like I'm right. You've met my family before? Who could it be? My pitiful big brother? The stupidest little brother? Or the most complete big sister? Or my little sister? Impossible. If she saw you, she would definitely fall in love with you and kill you. Can you be quiet for a moment? Chen Ge felt like the man was revealing his true nature. When he stopped hiding, he was very talkative. From now on, I'll ask the questions, and you'll answer them. Okay, I will tell you everything I know. You've met my family before, so I believe it must not be a happy memory. The man in the mirror leaned against the surface of the mirror. His body was almost squeezed out of the surface. Blood flowed on the surface of the mirror, but he acted like he could not feel the pain. Madness and madness were not enough to describe him. However, his action made Chen Ge realize something else. This man who called himself the non-smiler was covered in red. He was a real red specter. Chen Ge thought back to the non-smiler in Liwan City, and he realized that this crazy family appeared to be made up of red specters. What is your relationship with the patient who escaped from the cursed hospital? Why would he trap you inside the mirror? Chen Ge went straight to the point. Even though that was what he said, he was calculating internally. This red specter appeared to be at his weakest. After killing him, perhaps there would be another half-red specter among his employees. The two of us are partners. With my power alone, I won't be able to escape the hospital, so I need a helper. Then, why were you trapped inside the mirror? After escaping from the hospital, the goal was achieved. We both wanted to kill each other. That is normal. Is that normal? Chen Ge was still not used to the mind of a madman. And then? You were subdued and trapped inside the mirror? Neither of us could do anything to the other. At the time, the plan was to escape the hospital and hide behind another door, but to our surprise, there was a very scary presence behind the door. It appeared to be on the same level as the hospital. The man in the mirror pointed above him. Did you see the eyes outside the window? The eyes outside the window? Chen Ge frowned. You mean the blood-red sun that shrouded the school? Yes, it is the owner of this place. My partner and I fought several times, and it attracted its attention, so we wanted to leave a way out for ourselves. The man seemed to have read Chen Ge's mind. We wanted to find a way to enter and exit the school. We cooperated again and realized that there was a very special place at this school. There was not a normal mirror in the whole school. You realized that too? The owner of the school did not seem to want to face himself. He hated himself and gave up on himself. He did not want to see himself. What the man said caused Chen Ge's eyes to widen. He had figured out a crucial point. Continue. So, we started to look for mirrors, and we made a surprising discovery. At this school, every mirror is made from memory, and the mirror hides the self that we once hated. When people think back to the past, they are looking at their past selves. We explored many mirrors, but there was an accident when we explored this mirror. The mirror that I was in was different from all the others. After I entered it, I realized that I could not leave. The smile on the man's face was chilling. After my partner noticed the abnormality, he did not follow us. That was such a shame. I should have acted more realistically. In such a situation, you still wanted to kill your partner. You really are a hopeless scum. Chen Ge studied the last mirror closely, and he gradually noticed the difference between this mirror and the others. The blood stains on the mirror were all printed on the inside of the mirror, and there was a layer of dust that could not be wiped away. The edges of the mirror also showed signs of being scorched by fire. It's been burned. Whose memory does this mirror belong to? The painter? Or the school of the afterlife's first door pusher? Chen Ge wanted to kill the man in the mirror, but he gave up on that idea. To kill the man, he had to destroy the mirror or enter the mirror. Destroying the mirror meant destroying a very important clue, and there was a chance that he would not be able to leave the mirror. Chen Ge suddenly realized that the non-smiler in the mirror had turned the situation around without him noticing. If he was not telling the truth and was lying to him, then the man was too scary. Such a crazy and clever man, it's better to turn him into fertilizer. Chen Ge grumbled internally, but there was no expression on his face. Other than the mirror, what else did you find? Temporarily, Chen Ge did not plan to enter the mirror. He just wanted to get as much information as he could. This school is much more dangerous than we expected. We cannot be fooled by appearances. Other than that, I have seen many interesting things in this mirror, but I cannot tell you now because I am still inside the mirror. If I say these things, I will be eaten by the things inside the mirror. The man was very clear. He knew a lot of information, but he would only tell Chen Ge after he was rescued from the mirror. I know what to do. Oh, bye, carry this mirror. We'll leave the nurse's office first. Chen Ge planned to play with the non-smiler after Zhang Ya woke up. The best solution now was to ignore him. Find some clothes, cloth, anything to cover the mirror. I don't want to see this man's face. The monster inside the mirror was very dangerous. To prevent accidents, Chen Ge did not have Xu Yan and Bai Cholan return. After all, sometimes, danger could be found in an instant. Chen Ge was the first to walk out of the sick room. Yin Bai and Li Bing were quite happy to see him, and they hurried to join him. However, when they saw Bai Cholan and Xu Yin who followed behind Chen Ge, they stopped moving. Don't be afraid, they are all on our side. Chen Ge briefly introduced Bai Cholan and Xu Yin before leading them out of the nurse's office. I have to find that fake doctor. Only by capturing him will I be able to verify the non-smiler's words. Chen Ge was also concerned about the hospital. The non-smiler was right. He had not accepted the mission related to the hospital from the black phone, but things related to the hospital had started to appear in his life. He had no idea what would happen if this continued, and that made him anxious. I should deal with the problem before me first. If it really comes to that, and I have nowhere else to go, I'll just bring the ghost fetus with me to the cursed hospital, and we'll all die together. That was a good idea, but Chen Ge knew that the chance of success was very small. Now the only good news is that I still have time. This school of the afterlife mission is the key. Chen Ge looked at Yan Fei and Yin Bai. The two children were so weak that they needed support to walk. If one said that they had the right to become a door pusher, no one would believe it. Zhu Long and Wang Yicheng only recovered their power after their memory was awakened. Do I have to help Yan Fei and Yin Bai remember their past? But hasn't Yin Bai remembered many things already? She even met her old friend from Nuyang High School. No, there is no mention of Yin Hong in her memory. The key memory that she is missing is with Yin Hong. Only by finding that girl will Yin Bai be complete. For Chen Ge, Yin Bai was different from the other door pusher candidates. Due to the relationship between the old headmaster and Nuyang High School, he treated Yin Bai as someone he could rely on. I remember Yin Hong's class is not far from the nurse's office. Chen Ge returned to the place where he had first met Yin Hong. The old headmaster came to the school many times, so he should know about Yin Hong's existence. In his heart, does he treat Yin Hong as family? Picking up his pace, Chen Ge was about to push open the door to Yin Hong's classroom when an announcement came from the corridor. Emergency report. All students, please stay in the classroom and do not wander around. Emergency report. The announcement kept repeating the same sentence. It was very serious, like something scary had happened at the school. The more dangerous it is, the shorter the announcement. The painter and Chang Wenyu have started to move. Chen Ge hurried to the window. He realized that the blood fog was several times thicker than before, and something was charging at the school in the fog. What is that? There were red shadows in the fog. Since they were the same color as the fog, Chen Ge could not see them clearly. Whatever, even if the sky falls, there's someone tall to hold it up. Chen Ge pulled back his gaze and turned to push open the classroom door. The students were studying when they heard the door open. They all turned to look. Please continue. We're here to look for someone. Chen Ge walked to the podium. His eyes scanned the students, but he did not see Yin Hong. Where is she? Chen Ge walked to an empty seat in the third row. Is the student sitting here called Yin Hong? The students around him did not seem to be familiar with the seat, and none of them spoke. Aren't you classmates? Chen Ge flipped open the girl's textbook, and Yin Hong's name was written on it. Yes, this is the classroom. Where did she go? Chen Ge looked at Yin Bai's deskmate, and his expression was rather scary. Earlier, an old man came to take her away. He said he was Yin Hong's grandfather. Do you know where they've gone? Seems like they have something to say. But they've been gone for a long time. Based on the time, they should be back soon. Yin Hong's deskmate was afraid of Chen Ge, or rather, he was more afraid of Xu Yin and Bai Cholan, who stood behind Chen Ge. These people did not look normal. The old headmaster took Yin Hong away. He sure moved fast, but I won't let him go today. Chen Ge put away Yin Hong's stuff and handed them to Xu Yin. He stood before Yin Hong's deskmate. Which corridor did the old man take Yin Hong to? The west. Okay. I won't disturb your class anymore. It's dangerous outside. Stay in the classroom and study. You should be able to survive. Chen Ge led everyone out of the classroom. They stopped at the corner of the corridor. Yin Bai, your grandfather is at the school now. Chen Ge did not know how to tell Yin Bai about Yin Hong. The girl looked innocent and kind, but she seemed to have purposely forgotten all the memories about Yin Hong. Perhaps the memory was too painful, and her body was instinctively protecting it. Is Grandpa here? But why didn't he come to find me? He loves you so much, so he'll go find you first. This can only mean that he's in trouble. Chen Ge had Xu Yin search Yin Hong's bag to look for information about Yin Hong. At the same time, he took out the comic to say to Yin Bai, your grandfather is the kindest person I've ever met. We can't let him face danger alone. Everyone wants to reunite with him. Only with him here is a complete family. With just a few words, Chen Ge had Yin Bai. I know your grandfather's personality. Even if he's in danger, he won't drag us into it. He will bear it himself, so we can only go find him. Chen Ge grabbed Yin Bai's cold hand. Yin Bai, you're the only one who can help your grandfather now. Once Chen Ge said that, Yin Bai fully understood the severity of the problem. She bit on her thin lips and said in a low voice, Grandpa once made a promise with me. If one day, I'm very afraid, very helpless, and I feel like I can't hold on anymore, I'll go to the old building on the west side of the school. Wait a minute. Chen Ge shushed Yin Bai and had Bai Cholan walk away with the mirror. He held Yin Bai's hand and walked away with Xu Yin. Tell me, where do you want to go? He told me to go there to find a burned building. There's a red door hidden in the ruins. Find it and push it open. Yin Bai gave off the feeling that she would not lie. It can't be that simple. If you can leave by pushing open the door, the old headmaster would have taken Yin Bai and escaped a long time ago. Chen Ge looked into Yin Bai's eyes. The eyes were clear and did not hide anything. Is that all? Yes. Okay, we'll go now. Perhaps we'll run into your grandfather on the way. Chen Ge called everyone to hurry to the west side of the school. As they moved, he took the school bag from Xu Yin's hands. This was a very normal girl's school bag, but Chen Ge saw a lot of scribbles on Yin Hong's textbook and some of the extracurricular books. It looked ugly and messy. It did not look like a girl's textbook at all. Why would she scribble? Is it to cover something? Chen Ge flipped through the book and finally found a few places that were not completely scribbled away. He turned the page to the light, and from the back of the page, he could see some words. Why isn't she dead? Why isn't she dead? Are all the places that are scribbled away about a person's curse? Chen Ge put the book back and found a few crumpled balls of paper at the bottom of the bag. He had found them inside Yin Hong's drawer. At the time, he had stuffed the balls of paper into Yin Hong's drawer. Opening the balls of paper, he saw some random answers and formulas on the front, and on the back were lines of small words. It's getting harder and harder for me to control myself. I can always look at her, but she has forgotten about me. We shouldn't be like this. Blood splashed on my eyelashes. It's not a pleasant experience. I've helped her so many times, so why can't she help me once? Isn't it better to just die? Just like what I've done to them, she has forgotten her promise. It's because of me that she can continue living like a coward. Those who love her have not appeared even once. Those who promised to take care of her have all disappeared at the most crucial moment. Only I'm with her. I'm the one she should be most grateful to. Again and again, can't she see the sacrifice that I've made? I've done so much, and now I'm only begging her this one time. I'm begging her to die, and I will live with her. Why doesn't she want to die? Other than me. No one else in this world loves her. What else is she dreaming about? Alright, I understand. The person who is full of lies and foul odor is here. A liar who has never fulfilled his promise. Is that the reason she refuses to die? I understand. I know what to do. Just like those who have bullied her, ha 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 ha. The words on the balls of paper were very messy. When Chen Ge reached the end, he sucked in a cold breath. I'm afraid we'll have to move faster. The old headmaster is really in big trouble. The old headmaster was a very kind person. With Chen Ge's understanding of him, even if Yin Hong wanted to kill him, he probably would not fight back. Because Yin Hong was wearing Yin Bai's skin, the old headmaster had always felt guilty toward Yin Bai. Quick! Go to the old western campus. Chen Ge really did not wish for anything to happen to the old headmaster. Unprincipled kindness is cruelty to oneself. Hopefully, he'll be fine. To find the old headmaster, Chen Ge had visited Muyang High School several times. This was the closest he had gotten to the old headmaster. Whoever stood in his way would be his enemy. From how Chen Ge saw it, this kind of scene where he walked around in circles and brushed past the old headmaster would only appear in a third-rate television series. He had already made up his mind. No matter the cost, he would find the old headmaster. It was not only because the old headmaster knew the way out of the school of the afterlife but also because he knew a lot about his parents. That would help him understand the haunted house, the black phone, and even himself. Abandoning the whole family to risk his life in a 4-star scenario, does he even care about the other children in his class? Chen Ge did not know the answer to that question, so he wanted to ask the old headmaster in person. The atmosphere at the school of the afterlife became weirder. The windows in the corridor rattled, and the red fog stuck to the glass. One could see cracks on the glass. Most of the 3-star scenarios behind the door are enclosed scenarios. For example, the third sick hall, Liwan City is a special case, so the black phone gave it a 3.5-star rating. Chen Ge looked at the window, and questions kept popping up in his mind. I once saw a broken window at the third sick hall. Men Nan has been trying to fix the crack. According to him, if he doesn't fix the crack and it's seen by other things, it might attract some very dangerous things. The third sick hall is enclosed. Due to its weakness, Meng Nan has never thought about leaving the scenario. He doesn't dare and doesn't want to know what's outside the third sick hall. Looking at the thick red fog outside the window, Chen Ge was reminded of Coffin Village. The world behind that village's door is also blood red, but the woman in the well is much stronger than Meng Nan, comparable to Zhang Ya before she consumed the Shadow's heart. That's why she has the power to protect that small village. But from the looks of it, she has been studying how to reincarnate as a human, trying to get rid of her identity as a baleful specter. She should have seen something very scary and difficult behind the door, and that's why she's so anxious. To be able to scare a top red specter, this must be the real scary presence behind the door. Chen Ge was reminded of his battle with Dr. Gao at the underground morgue. Dr. Gao had chosen to bear all the sin behind the door alone. He had buried the door and personally destroyed the door that he had pushed open. After the door collapsed, the ceiling, which was made up of blood vessels and organs, fell, and blood-red moonlight shone down from above. Chen Ge remembered what he had seen clearly. He looked down the gap in the underground morgue, and there was a blood-red city. That boundless red city is what's outside these scary scenarios. Or could it be that all the scary scenes, no matter how many stars the difficulty is, actually all exist in that blood-red scene? Chen Ge felt that he was getting closer to the truth, but he was also getting more and more worried. Dr. Gao was the scariest opponent that he had ever faced. He was meticulous, powerful, and had many helpers. Chen Ge even suspected that his final suicide was a part of his plan. However, such an invincible presence had turned into a madman wrapped in chains in just a few days after leaving the original scenario and entering the Red City. The thing that shocked Chen Ge the most was that Dr. Gao loved his wife when he was still alive. That was the belief that had supported him. From Chen Ge's perspective, even if Dr. Gao's soul was destroyed, He would not allow anyone to harm his wife, not even her dead body. But the reality was, when they met again, only his wife's head was left beside Dr. Gao. Chen Ge did not dare imagine what Dr. Gao had experienced behind the door and what kind of evil presence he had run into. That was why he had decided to ally with Dr. Gao in Liwan City. He wanted to get to the bottom of everything behind the door because he suspected that his parents had also entered the Red City. I've seen many 3-star scenarios, and they're completely sealed. Then, a 4-star scenario, Chen Ge was thinking when he heard a crisp sound next to his ear. Pa! The glass on the window next to him suddenly shattered, and glass shards rained down on him, but thankfully, Xu Yin blocked them. The glass shattered? The glass window of the school was shattered, and this scenario was connected to the outside world. Through the blood fog, one could see the outline of a building. The weirdest thing was that the distance between the building and the school was slowly closing like they could move. This way, shouts and footsteps came from the end of the corridor. Chen Ge quickly had everyone hide inside a nearby classroom. The blood fog slowly surged into the classroom through the broken window like a red python searching for its prey. Moments later, 7 men in school uniforms and the teachers hurried over. The leader was Mr. Lei, whom Chen Ge had met earlier. They carried various tools in their hands, and in less than 10 seconds, they fixed the window. However, to Chen Ge's surprise, when they came to fix the window, there were 7 of them, but when they left, there were 6 of them. One of them had disappeared without anyone noticing. Each broken window represents a soul or a kind of obsession. Lightning flashed through Chen Ge's mind. The door pusher pushed open the door when they were at their most desperate. Their despair can be considered some kind of obsession, and it can't be undone, so they sink deeper and deeper. This despair isolates their soul from the world, and it is this layer of obsession that prevents their scenario from interacting with the Red City. That's why these scenarios are completely sealed off. For a 3-star scenario, a broken window is a very dangerous thing. They have never interacted with the Red City before, but 4-star scenarios are different. Based on how Mr. Lei and the rest reacted, they seem to run into this kind of thing often. They are already used to the Red City outside of the scenario. The more Chen Ge thought about it, the more logical he felt. The original door pusher of the School of the Afterlife had been consumed, and the door had become riddled with holes, but thankfully, it had not been destroyed. After surviving the hardest period, the door had become different. This anomaly outside the school is probably caused by the painter or Chang Wenyu. I have no idea what these 2 madmen will do next. It's getting more and more chaotic. After Mr. Lei and the rest left, Chen Ge led everyone out of the classroom and continued to run toward the western side of the school. There was no one else in the corridor, and the warning from the loudspeaker had stopped. There was only dead silence. The library was at the center of the School of the Afterlife. After Chen Ge exited the mirror, he saw the real world behind the door of the school. But as he walked toward the edge of the school, more and more strange things appeared around him. The School of the Afterlife was huge, but most of the students and teachers were gathered at the center of the school. Most of the classrooms and rooms around the school were empty. If they were just empty, it would have been nothing, but after Chen Ge observed them from a close distance, he realized that there were many traces left behind in these classrooms. Some of the classrooms appeared to have been soaked in water. The tables and chairs were all moldy, and they gave off a thick, strange smell. Some of the classrooms were nailed shut with wooden boards. Looking through the gaps in the windows, he realized that all the drawers of the tables were nailed shut like they were afraid that something might escape from the drawers. That was not the strangest thing. When Chen Ge walked down the corridor and left the center of the school, he saw an abandoned hall. The layout of the hall was similar to the one he saw when he went to Xinhai to challenge the haunted house. The haunted house in Xinhai was based on the diary. In other words, this hall had once appeared in the real life of the diary's owner. Chen Ge had read the diary before, but he realized that the scene before him was completely different from the description in the diary. The hall was decorated with banners welcoming new students, and several mannequins were placed on the cement podium. They had strange faces, and each of them had a negative emotion stuck on their backs like anger or jealousy. These mannequins smile happily at the students, but there are names with negative emotions stuck on their backs. Is this a hint? When Chen Ge walked past the hall, he could see the mannequin on the podium turn its head toward him, and the expression on its face change. There should be something more to this hall, something scary. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll eat all of you. Through the window, Chen Ge threatened the mannequin like a hot-tempered man. The mannequin was smart enough to turn its head away like everything that had happened earlier was Chen Ge's own imagination. If not for the fact that I was in a hurry to find the old headmaster, do you think I would have let you go? Chen Ge stared at the mannequin that had looked at him earlier. There's no point in hiding. I'll remember you. There were many strange rooms in the school of the afterlife. For Chen Ge, this place was like a gift box filled with different flavors of chocolate. He had no idea what he would run into when he opened the next door. I've only searched the western side of the school. If the rest of the school is the same, then this scenario is too big. Once he thought about the chance to move this whole scenario into his haunted house, Chen Ge's eyes started to turn red. To be able to experience such a large, scary, and complicated scenario, that should be every haunted house owner's lifelong dream. Just the school of the afterlife alone covers all the scary scenarios related to a school. There are countless classrooms and rooms for me to modify. As long as I'm willing to spend some time, I can even recreate all the stories that I've heard in the Society of Strange Tales here. Just thinking about that made Chen Ge's blood boil. The reward was proportional to the effort. If he could unlock the scenario of the school of the afterlife, then he might have a chance of winning against the futuristic theme park. Unfortunately, after the black phone is unlocked, the scenario is just an empty shell. I'll have to find the ghost stories and employees on my own. Thinking about the black phone, Chen Ge calmed down instantly. It was like someone standing next to a heater in winter and suddenly being doused with cold water. He had found the backpack, and everything inside was there, but the black phone was missing. Based on the clues that he had, it was probably in Chong Wenyu's hands. I'm still not careful enough. I can't let this happen again. Chen Ge was good at analyzing. He would record down everything that he had experienced, analyze it bit by bit, and then burn the records. It was this caution that had allowed him to survive until now. After I leave the school of the afterlife, I need to order a few phones that look similar to the black phone and place a baleful specter in each one. After who knew how long, children's graffiti started to appear on the originally white walls. The trash on the ground increased, and various things started to appear in the corners. The smell of blood in the air lightened, and in its place, there was the smell of burnt flesh. We're almost there. Be careful of your surroundings. Chen Ge opened the comic and released the foul odor from Western Zhujiang Private Academy. He was a very unique kind of specter. He was formless and formed from the accumulation of stench. He was not easily injured and could protect his teammates. Moving forward, the paint on the wall started to peel, revealing the black and red bricks. More and more places showed signs of being burned. This should be the place. Chen Ge called Yin Bai to his side. Your grandfather is in danger. Someone wants to harm him, and only we can save him. Yin Bai's only family was the old headmaster. Hearing the seriousness in Chen Ge's voice, she was spooked. Are you sure he didn't tell you anything else? He really didn't? Then we'll have to search slowly. Chen Ge tried to think from the old headmaster's perspective. Yin Hong and Yin Bai were both a part of Li Shuiyan. He would not abandon Yin Bai and escape with Yin Hong. Chen Ge had no idea what was at the end of the school of the afterlife. The closer he got to the edge of the school, the stronger the anxiety in his heart. After walking down 2 corridors, the scene before him had completely changed. The walls were covered in burn marks, and the ground was littered with trash. This place looks familiar. Chen Ge walked to the door of the next classroom. He pushed lightly on the blackened wooden board, and it fell over. He looked at the tables and chairs in the classroom, and his fingers slid across the surface. This is very similar to the tables and chairs I saw at Muyang High School, this classroom. His finger was pricked by the wooden splinter on the table, and Chen Ge realized that there was a line of small words carved on the table. He had seen these words when he first explored Muyang High School. Why would a classroom from Muyang High School appear at the old campus of the School of the Afterlife? Is this a coincidence? Or is the whole School of the Afterlife made up of many abandoned schools? Chen Ge wanted to confirm the speculation in his heart. He rushed to the last classroom at the end of the corridor. Walking down the corridor, when Chen Ge pushed open the door of the last classroom, he was stunned. There was a burnt school uniform on every chair in the classroom. In the middle of the classroom sat a cute and obedient girl. She looked very similar to Yin Bai. Across from the girl stood a rotund old man. His back was facing Chen Ge, and the back was very familiar to Chen Ge. You're just like the person in my memory. I've been looking for you for so long. Chen Ge remembered clearly that it was a stormy night. The time on his phone was 2 a.m., and he was running down the corridor of the abandoned school. When he passed the last classroom, he saw the old headmaster for the first time. The kind old man stood at the podium. His eyes met with Chen Ge's. That 1 second of eye contact was the cause, and their meeting at the school of the afterlife was the result. The old headmaster probably did not expect that the casual glance back would become the chance encounter that would change his fate. The person standing before Yin Hong's desk slowly turned around. When he saw Chen Ge, who was carrying 2 large backpacks, his expression turned unnatural. "You are Chen Ge." Chen Ge walked toward the old man. "We met once at Muyang High School. If you can't remember, I can show you the recording. I was live streaming that day." "I do remember, but I have something else to do now. After I'm done, we can catch up." The old headmaster seemed to know about Chen Ge's secret. He knew that he was different from the other students. Once he got involved with Chen Ge, there would be endless trouble. Therefore, he reached out to grab Yin Hong's arm and prepared to leave. "I wonder what is more important than the children at Muyang High School." Chen Ge took out the comic from his backpack. "Sir, everyone misses you. When you're not around, the smiles on the children's faces have lost their light. You're the backbone of Muyang High School. Without you, this family is incomplete." Be it from his expression, voice, or even the tone of his words, Chen Ge perfectly embodied the concept of sincerity and sincerity. Knowing that his students were in Chen Ge's hands, the old headmaster's gaze changed. His lips fell open, but he did not speak immediately. Even though he had lived for so long, the old man had not learned how to reject others. "Principal, I know you have your difficulties, and I also know that you have your own considerations for doing this. But have you ever thought about it? You've given the students the comfort that you believe is safe. Entering a dangerous place like the school of the afterlife alone. Will the children that you've saved be willing to accept this comfort? Do you think they will continue to enjoy their current life if they know that their current life is in exchange for everything you have? You know your children the best. If you don't want them to live in self-blame, it's best if you tell them everything and we can think of a solution together." Chen Ge's words resonated in the old principal's heart. He did not care about his own safety, but he cared about his students. Those students were the old principal's weakness. Of course, they were also the old principal's best helpers. Without giving the old principal any time to think, Chen Ge took out a ballpoint pen that was covered in tape. He handed it to the old man and then took out a piece of paper from Yin Hong's bag. "I'm not lying to you. I just hope that you can listen to their opinion." The ballpoint pen that was covered in tape was held in the old principal's palm. The body of the pen shook slightly, and when the tip touched the paper, the pen moved on its own. "No matter what other people think, I am willing to help you." Looking at the words on the paper, Chen Ge sighed. When the pen spirit found out that he was going to enter the school of the afterlife, she had said that she would rather die than join, but now that she saw the old principal, she had changed her mind. The old principal shook his head. He held the pen lightly, afraid that he would break it. It felt like he was caressing his granddaughter's head. Not only her, there are others. Chen Ge flipped through the comic and released all the lingering spirits of the students from Muyang High School. They were orphans. You gave them a home, and after they died, their spirits returned to Muyang High School. Because for them, no matter how big the world is, Muyang High School is their home. Looking at the familiar figures, the old principal was silent. 10 seconds later, he turned to Chen Ge. "I'm going to do something very dangerous. You shouldn't have come, and you shouldn't have brought them with you. You've met my parents, so you know some things about them. Since you're willing to leave your children with me, it means that you know how I am." Chen Ge stood before the old headmaster. "That haunted house is my home, and since they live there, they are my family. How can I allow my family to blame themselves every day?" Be it the lingering spirits from Muyang High School or Bai Cholan, who was carrying the mirror, when they heard what Chen Ge said, they were moved. They had a sense of belonging to Chen Ge's haunted house. This feeling was not forced on them by Chen Ge, and he had not purposely instilled it into them. It was something that had been accumulated by Chen Ge through many small things in his life. "What I'm going to do is very dangerous. It will harm you and drag them down with it." The old principal's hair was white. He stood in the abandoned classroom that had been burned down. Looking at the familiar figures, he thought that he would never see those children again. "I've tried so many ways to get into this school, and one of the reasons is to help you." Chen Ge pulled the lingering spirits of the students from Muyang High School back into the comic. They were just lingering spirits, and they were very fragile. If there was an accident, they would disappear instantly, and the last trace of them in the world would be gone. The old principal saw the students' lingering spirits disappear, and his expression was complicated. In the end, he sighed. "You're very similar to your father. You like to meddle in other people's business, cause trouble. You don't consider the consequences, but you stick to your bottom line. You have a rare kindness." This was the first time that Chen Ge had heard someone comment on his father. His impression of his father was completely different from how the old man described him. He was afraid of ruining the atmosphere, so he did not interrupt. "Looks like you're very familiar with them," Chen Ge said casually. "Yes, it was your father who told me that Shuiyin was trapped inside the school of the afterlife. It was also him who helped me find a way to enter this place without asking for anything in return. He has helped me so much, and now you've personally come to the school to find me. I really owe you too much." The image of Chen Ge's father in the old principal's words was very big, but Chen Ge felt that something was wrong. He knew that it was an accident that he had entered the haunted house. He had not expected to meet the old principal. Earlier, he had been confused, thinking that it was too much of a coincidence, but now that the old principal had said it himself, Chen Ge suddenly realized that the old principal had been tricked. "I was too selfish. I only thought about myself and didn't consider others." The old principal was reflecting on himself, and Chen Ge did not know how to respond. "Sir, don't say that. The past is in the past. We need to live in the present." Chen Ge coughed dryly. He really did not expect to run into the old headmaster at the school of the afterlife. His entry into the school was an accident. Thankfully, he maintained his good habit. No matter where he went, he would bring all his employees with him. There was strength in numbers, and he might be able to use one of his employees' special power. Even if they did not have any special power, they would be able to boost his courage. With so many coincidences, this situation was formed. It looked accidental but also inevitable, and it made his scalp go numb. "It's easy to remember the past when I'm old. Seeing you reminds me of your parents. They have helped me a lot." The headmaster felt guilty. "Actually, when you first entered Muyang High School, I noticed you. It was then that I had the idea to save Shuiyin." "Don't mind that." Chen Ge was worried that Yin Hong might hurt the old headmaster, so he took a few steps forward. "You asked me to say it. Some things have been bottled up in my heart." The old headmaster shook his head. "The school of the afterlife is very dangerous. I know the chance of me saving Shuiyin is not high. If I can't return, the other children will be in trouble. I worry about them, so I asked you to take care of them." The old man paused. "Your parents helped me, but I used you. Now, to find me, you voluntarily came to such a dangerous place. I really don't know what to say. Sir, even though this place is dangerous, there's no need to despair." Chen Ge's eyes skipped over the old headmaster to look at Yin Hong, who was hiding behind the old man. "I came in fully prepared." He flipped through the comic, and the yellowed pages rustled. Red blood leaked out from them. This normal-looking comic had a page that was blood red. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of knocking echoed around them. A pale arm reached out from the page, and a lock of black hair was tied around her wrist. The stench of blood in the air thickened. Fingers, arms, shoulders, a headless woman crawled out from the comic. But that was not all. She reached her hand into the pages, and after searching for a long time, she pulled out a woman's head. The blood-red dress fell to the ground. The female ghost held her head and stood quietly on the left side of Chen Ge. "Don't be afraid. They're all on our side." Chen Ge unzipped his backpack, put away the comic, and took out a pair of blood-red high heels from the deepest part of his backpack. He casually placed the shoes on the desk next to him. Suddenly, the classroom was filled with the sound of footsteps, and blood-red footprints appeared one after another on the floor. Finally, the footprints stopped on the right side of Chen Ge. "Shu Yin." Chen Ge called Shu Yin's name softly, and the stench of blood rushed at him. Shu Yin, who stopped hiding his true nature, tilted his head to look at the old headmaster. The whole classroom felt like it was covered in a sea of blood. Not including Bai Cholan, Chen Ge was surrounded by 3 red specters. Are these enough? The old headmaster did not expect Chen Ge to bring so many red specters with him. His eyes widened. Yes, as long as we're careful, I know it's not enough. Before the old headmaster finished, Chen Ge continued. That's why I entered the school of the afterlife earlier. I've already negotiated with the 3 red specters at this school. Since we have a common interest, they have agreed to cooperate with me. In other words, there will be six red specters to help us. The old headmaster knew how scary a red specter was. They were the symbol of despair, cruelty, and pain. If he encountered them alone, other than having his soul destroyed, he could not think of a second ending. The 6 red specters are just pawns that I use to confuse the enemy. My real trump card, Chen Ge turned to look at his shadow, and his eyes softened, is the greater red specter. Hearing the words that came out of Chen Ge's lips, the old headmaster started to doubt his ears, but he did not dare ask. In fact, he did not even have the courage to repeat those words. The young man before him was too scary. If not for the fact that he saw the 3 red specters standing next to him, the old headmaster would not have believed him. He was just a half-red specter, they were not on the same level. Now, what do you think are the chances of us winning? Chen Ge stood before the old man. His expression was serious, he did not look like he was joking. If that's really the case, then there's a 90% chance that we can escape the school safely. Only 90%, and that's just escaping from the school. Chen Ge frowned slightly. Including Zhang Ya, who was still asleep, they only had a 90% chance of escaping. It looked like they could not face the school head-on. They had to follow the school's rules and use the school's consciousness to its fullest. You can listen to my plan first. The old headmaster had already treated Chen Ge as one of his own. Your father did not tell me why this school appeared. He only told me that the door at the school has been looking for bullied and helpless children. That is why Seinen entered the door. He studied this door closely and found something special. The school behind the door is actually made up of multiple schools, and it is a mixture of the memories of all the bullied children. Quote. But what does that have to do with your plan? Chen Ge did not quite get it. Of course it does. In those children's memories, there is a place called Muyang High School. The old headmaster sighed. This is my fault. Before this, something unpleasant happened at Muyang High School. One of the children dropped out because of that, and his adoptive father sent him to the countryside. The child was very honest. Even though he was not good at school, he was very good at drawing. Drawing? What's wrong? It's nothing. Go on. Chen Ge waved his hands. Coincidentally, Muyang High School in the School of the Afterlife is an abandoned school. There is a gap hidden in the school, like a scar that will never heal in the owner's heart. Where is that gap? The abandoned well at the back of the field. That well leads out of the school. Everything that the old headmaster said next shocked Chen Ge. After leaving this school, we will enter a city that is shrouded in blood fog. We need to keep heading west, and no matter what we see, do not turn back. No matter who calls your name, do not answer. We will keep walking until we enter an abandoned mental hospital. There is a broken window in the 3rd building of the hospital. Once we enter that window, we will be completely safe. Quote. The 3rd building of an abandoned mental hospital. Chen Ge thought that sounded familiar. The old headmaster's description sounded like the 3rd sick hall that Meng Nan stayed at. Yes, this is what your father told me. When I first came to visit Seinen, it was your father who led me into the school through that window. Unfortunately, your parents disappeared, and the door was taken over by some evil spirits. When I barged in with the thought that I was going to die, I realized there was no one there. The old headmaster sighed. Perhaps even the heavens want me to accompany Seinen. Quote. There was no such coincidence in the world. Chen Ge's brain was spinning. Dr. Gao had gone mad after entering the Red City for a week, so with the old headmaster's power alone, he would not have been able to cross the Red City from the 3rd sick hall to the School of the Afterlife. Someone had to be protecting him. Or rather, something was protecting him. With his eyes red, an answer appeared in Chen Ge's heart. He gritted his teeth and did not say the words out loud. It was Chen Ge's father who told the old headmaster everything about the School of the Afterlife, and it was also Chen Ge's father who broke the window at the 3rd sick hall. Why would he spend so much effort to send the old headmaster into the School of the Afterlife? Chen Ge gripped his fists, and his eyes wandered to the blood sun outside the window. The despair that was condensed from endless negative emotions was boiling. The children could not be freed. They screamed in pain, but no one could hear them, no one could understand them, and no one was willing to accompany them. Narrowing his eyes, Chen Ge suddenly thought of a possibility. Could it be that he wants the headmaster of Muyang High School to become the headmaster of the School of the Afterlife? His heart was racing. Chen Ge held the edge of the table and took a deep breath to calm himself down. The owner of the third sick hall is Meng Nan, and there aren't many people with the surname Men. Perhaps the child's name is a hint that he left for me. The door represented the unknown, but it also represented the exit. Now that I think about it, there are many other hints. What kind of trouble are my parents in? Why did they have to use this method to guide me closer to the truth? Some questions could not be answered. Through his conversation with the old headmaster, Chen Ge knew that his parents were hiding many things, and they were not as simple as they appeared to be. Some situations that even Dr. Gao could not deal with were easily solved by Chen Ge's parents, but even so, they did not dare tell Chen Ge the truth. They only used hints and hints to reveal some information. This abnormal behavior made Chen Ge very unsettled. I don't know what I should be careful of, but I can now confirm that my family is in trouble. Chen Ge stood beside the table, and his brain kept turning. Every word that the old headmaster said was important to him. The old headmaster saw Chen Ge standing there for so long. He wanted to go over, but he was afraid of the red specter next to Chen Ge. Chen Ge, are you all right? I'm fine. Chen Ge waved his hands. The path that you mentioned is too dangerous. There are many scary monsters in the Red City. I have no confidence in leaving that place. Dr. Gao's experience had a huge impact on Chen Ge. A normal person had gone mad after a week, and that was hard for him to accept. I cannot gamble with the lives of my employees. Chen Ge sat on the table. Perhaps due to overthinking, his face was pale. But that is the only way out. The old headmaster did not expect Chen Ge to argue with him. I know another way, Li Yao said. Chen Ge slowly raised his head to look at the old headmaster. There is a door in every scenario. We can leave from the door in the school of the afterlife. That's impossible. The school will not allow any of the children to leave. It has provided a home for those children, and those children have become a part of the door. They are a whole. The old headmaster pointed out the window. Do you see that blood-red eye? All the students' negative emotions are gathered there. Once it notices someone trying to leave the school, they will be stopped by the school's consciousness. It will not let any student leave, much less open the door to let Shuiyan out. Quote. You still don't know this door well enough. Based on what I know, a girl left the school of the afterlife through this door a long time ago. Her name is Chong Wenyu. Chen Ge knew the limitations of the school's consciousness. Are you sure? How did she do that? The old headmaster was shocked. This was the first time he had heard of something like that. This school is currently controlled by the students' consciousness. The despairing students will not let us leave, but if one of us takes over the students' consciousness and becomes the new owner of the school, we will be in charge of the whole school, much less open the door. When Chen Ge spoke, he kept his eyes on the old headmaster. He memorized all the small expressions on the old headmaster's face. Us. The headmaster looked at him like he was mad. That is impossible. The school's consciousness has been growing over the years, and it has turned into a monster. Even a red specter is no match for it. The old headmaster seemed to be worried that he had not expressed himself clearly, so he emphasized, even 6 red specters are not enough. He wanted to stop the dangerous thought in Chen Ge's mind. From how he saw it, replacing the school's consciousness was suicide. Aren't you curious as to why I would rather go against the school's will than enter the blood-red city? His father's image appeared in Chen Ge's mind, but his father was completely different from the man that the old headmaster had described. He could not see things from his father's perspective. Frankly speaking, he did not know what his family wanted to do. He simply believed that his family would never harm him. Why? The old headmaster was confused as well. He had entered the school through that path, and from how he saw it, it was a relatively safe path. You've underestimated the danger of the Red City. Chen Ge told the old headmaster about Dr. Gao without hiding anything. I have many witnesses here, like Shu Yin, Bai Cholan, and your student, the Pen Spirit. That nightmarish past has been haunting our hearts. Even now, when I close my eyes, the scene is still playing in my mind. To prove that he was not exaggerating, Chen Ge took out the Pen Spirit. When Dr. Gao appeared in Liwan City, she had been beside him. She had participated in everything that had happened to Chen Ge. In terms of describing danger, the Pen Spirit had a talent that normal ghosts would not have. She drew on the paper, and the content scared the old headmaster until his face blanched. That Red City is that dangerous. The old headmaster's heart shuddered. Yes, that's why I was so shocked when I heard you crossed the Red City to come here. But perhaps it's because you've done many good deeds in your life, and you're blessed by a mysterious force, Chen Ge said in a roundabout way. I'm just lucky. Luck is a part of one's power. I plan to use the abandoned well at the field behind the school as our escape route. If my plan fails, we'll leave through this escape route. Double insurance, that's the safest solution in a situation like this. Chen Ge still planned to enter the Red City, there were too many unknowns there. It did not take long to convince the old headmaster, and the old man soon agreed to follow Chen Ge. Sir, since we're a team now, we should clarify the uncertainties in the team as soon as possible to prevent any misunderstanding. Chen Ge pulled Yin Bai, who was hiding in the people group, over. You're looking for Li Shuiyan, but why are there two Li Shuiyans at this school? Which one is real? Which one is fake? Quote. Yin Bai did not expect something like this to happen to her. She had been happy when she saw the old headmaster, but when she saw Yin Hong behind the old headmaster, her heart suddenly felt heavy. It was like her most important and precious thing had been taken away by someone else. When Yin Hong saw Yin Bai, her expression turned nervous. She gripped the old man's shirt and did not dare say anything. To prevent any accidents, Chen Ge summoned all the red specters. He did that to scare Yin Hong. He did not want to get into an argument with the old headmaster over something small, so he used his absolute advantage to nip any possible conflict in the bud. Yin Hong hid behind the old headmaster, unwilling to come out. She looked nervous, but Chen Ge did not see much fear on her face. In other words, even facing three red specters, Yin Hong still had the confidence to escape. Chen Ge had no idea what Yin Hong was relying on, so he could only be careful. Headmaster. Chen Ge saw the old headmaster's silence like there was something he could not say. Both of them are Li Shuiyan. They are the same person. The headmaster's eyes that looked at the two girls were filled with love and guilt. I know one of them is Yin Hong, and the other is Yin Bai, but no matter what their names are, they are both my family. Reaching out to touch Yin Hong's head, the old headmaster shielded Yin Hong behind him. A trace of disgust flashed across Yin Hong's eyes when the old headmaster touched her head. However, perhaps because the situation was too disadvantageous for her, and she still needed the old headmaster's support, she did not resist. Instead, she pretended to be obedient. Actually, Yin Hong is more like Shuiyan. Facing the drunkard father and the wheelchair-bound mother, she could only protect herself. The headmaster pushed all the responsibility onto himself. This is all my fault. I was blind to believe the lies of Shuiyan's father. I personally pushed them into the fire pit. Yin Bai did not seem to know what the headmaster was saying. She looked at the headmaster with confusion. Her pretty eyes were filled with confusion, and she mumbled the word grandpa. Yin Hong's reaction was different from Yin Bai's. She was trying her best to suppress the anger in her heart. Her expression did not change much, but her eyes were suffused with blood. The memory of the past was very harmful to her, and her body was slowly changing. Headmaster, I'm afraid things are not as simple as you think. Chen Ge did not want to hide anything from the headmaster. He opened Yin Hong's bag and found the ball of paper that he had found in Yin Hong's drawer. Seeing the crumpled paper, the calmness on Yin Hong's face was shattered. She looked like the murderer had found out that his body had been found by the police. The paper contained Yin Hong's dissatisfaction with the world and her wish to kill the headmaster. Holding the papers in his hands, Chen Ge looked at the old headmaster, who wanted to protect Yin Hong, and Yin Hong, who gripped the old headmaster's shirt with reddened eyes. He hesitated again. Shaking his head lightly, Chen Ge put the papers back into his bag. Principal, can you explain in detail how Shuiyan became like this? Putting away the paper filled with crazy words, Chen Ge noticed that both Yin Hong and the old headmaster sighed in relief. He vaguely understood that the old principal actually knew everything. Yin Bai is the purest side of Shuiyan's heart. She is innocent, kind, and innocent, but the reason she can live like that is because all the anxiety, fear, hatred, and other negative emotions are borne by Yin Hong. There was a trace of regret and anger in the old headmaster's voice. Shuiyan's mother was the first child I adopted. She was not in good health and could not bear a child, so I adopted Shuiyan. At that time, I accompanied the couple. Shuiyan was still very young at that time. I was very happy to see the family of three laughing and chatting happily. But later on, I realized that things were not as I had imagined. Quote. Chen Ge heard a trace of hatred in the old headmaster's voice. This surprised him. The old headmaster with such a good temper would hate someone so much. You can't judge a book by its cover. Shuiyan's father is a complete liar. Initially, he approached Shuiyan's mother not because he liked her but because he wanted to get his hands on the few properties under my name. He knew I did not have a biological child, so he purposely approached us. Everything, including the adoption of Shuiyan, was a show for us. Quote. If that was all, the old headmaster would not have been so angry. What he said next was the real reason for his anger. After he found out that I planned to donate all my properties and had already hired a lawyer to draft a will, his embarrassment turned into anger. Every day, he came up with various reasons to cause trouble. He beat up Shuiyan's mother. One time, he even targeted Shuiyan. Thankfully, Shuiyan's mother found out in time. The old man's voice was shaking. He was a good person, but that did not mean that he was not angry. From another perspective, with the old headmaster's personality, he would not consume other specters. The fact that he was able to become a half-red specter under such circumstances meant that he had a strong determination and had something that he had to complete. I found these things in Shuiyan's diary in her room after she died. Do you know how much pain I felt when I read that diary? The old headmaster pulled Yin Hong to his side. Yin Bai would not have been able to survive in that kind of place, and that is why Yin Hong appeared. After hearing what the old headmaster said, Chen Ge was thankful that he did not take out the balls of paper directly. He looked at Yin Hong and was suddenly reminded of something else. Yin Bai had said that her father had suddenly left home and never returned. Initially, Chen Ge did not think too much about it, but after seeing Yin Hong, he could guess what had happened to the man. He would never come back, and he would never come back. Yin Hong originally had a problem with the old headmaster, and she had even wanted to hurt the old headmaster. However, what happened next surprised her. When she was targeted by the three red specters, the old headmaster did not back down at all, shielding her behind him. In fact, he became her life-saving straw. This changed her view of the old headmaster. Then, when she saw the regret on the old headmaster's face, a very uncomfortable feeling rose in her heart, like a small crack had appeared on her cold heart. I didn't expect her to have such a past. I can understand that, but Chen Ge did not finish his sentence. He put away the headless woman and the red high heels. These two could not be considered real employees at the haunted house. The headless woman was very unwilling, and the red high heels was even more disobedient. Even though the shoes were placed inside the backpack, more and more red footprints appeared on the table. Putting away the two red specters was to show his attitude. Chen Ge decided to let the old headmaster deal with this himself. Even though Yin Hong's heart was filled with negative emotions, at the end of the day, she was one with Yin Bai. With his hands on Yin Bai's shoulders, Chen Ge's eyes moved between Yin Hong and Yin Bai. He was about to ask the old headmaster some more questions when he suddenly realized something. How come this situation between Yin Hong and Yin Bai feels so familiar? Like me and Li Wan City's shadow. To be more precise, Chen Ge was reminded of himself and the ghost fetus. One was a cheerful haunted house boss, and the other was the scariest presence in a 4-star scenario. Wait a minute, Chen Ge rubbed his temples. The family told the old headmaster that Shui Ying is at the school of the afterlife. In other words, he is very familiar with Shui Ying's situation. Could this be another hint that they are giving me? For more thrilling fanfiction stories like this, check out my channel Fanfic Audiobook. Dive into epic adventures, mysterious realms, and legendary journeys brought to life through immersive storytelling. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing audiobooks.